Hello and welcome to Finance for JCL. In this video, I'm going to go through what happened in my stock portfolio last month and how I'm doing against my targets. Let's roll the intro. These are the 5 areas that I'm going to cover today in order. So let's start off with the value of the portfolio. At the end of January, the portfolio value was a smidge under 43,000. That remains the case. I've added £300 per my standard monthly deposit. The performance or value of the holdings in the market is down 369. So we are broadly where we were last month. That compares favourably with my base target of 41,788. But I do want it to be around about 46,000 by the end of the year. Yes, there's more money to go in, £3,000 more to go in. So it's roughly speaking on target to hit that. But also be nice to have some further performance gains as well. I find it really important to set these targets each year so I know how I'm doing against my long-term goal. It really helps me make those decisions in my portfolio. And coming up later in this video, you'll see some of the big decisions I've made in the last month. So I want to hit the £1 million, the long-term goal by 2050. I need to get consistently 9.55% per year in order to get that. When I review stocks, they need to get higher than that rate of return in order for me to consider them. Ladies and gentlemen, a brief interlude to talk about Mint Architecture Limited. Amazingly, the very first sponsor on this channel. Are you looking for some consultancy for any building project, extensions, loft conversions, farm conversions, or even commercial projects? Whether it's large or small, Mint Architecture Limited can draw upon over 15 years of experience and knowledge to help you with your project. Contact Emily, Mint Architecture Limited. Details will be posted below for your free consultation and bespoke no obligation quote. So thank you once again to Mint Architecture Limited sponsoring this video. Now, some of the return is from dividends, and here are the dividends I've received in February. Around about £50 worth of dividends. Always a big shout out to Unum Group at the top there, one of my favourite holdings, and some good dividend favourites in there, such as British American Tobacco as well. Love to hear in the comments below what your biggest dividend stock was in the last month. I've sold out of 2 positions entirely, Walgreens and Stern & Co. Walgreens, around about £900 I had in them. Stern & Co. was a small position of a couple £100. They're both in my dividend stock pot. Now with Walgreens, I made a small loss. Stern & Co. I made a profit of £2. And it was one of the companies I wanted to sell to simplify the portfolio. And I've managed to do that in both cases. For me, Walgreens, although the management potentially is good, I'm not seeing the delivery, and the numbers are getting worse. Their margins, I think, were less than 2% on last review. I don't think they can deliver the return for me that I want in the long run. On the plus side, I've put my usual monthly investment into funds with equity. I've added to my Google position, and I've added to my Dropbox position. Dropbox particularly because it dropped back after recent results. Find out when I'm buying and selling. Please consider joining these fine gentlemen in our Patreon group. We've got a Discord server you can get through there, and we're talking about company ideas and portfolio management and so on. I'd love for you to join us. It's an open invitation. Please consider it for the link down below. Move on to the portfolio overview, and here is the money and how it's distributed between each of the segments of my portfolio. With the big thing to note here is a large cash position. That's actually going to get bigger as well in the next month. And I'm conscious that to make the most of the market in the long run, one needs to be close to fully invested. So if you've got any good stock ideas, I'd love to hear them. Please drop them in the comments below. I'm now going to review the performance of every single holding, starting the quality stock pot where I've got 11,000 of my money. Big changes for last month. Bank FZK keeps moving forwards. One of my favourite companies, up 110% now. Dropbox pulled back 12 percentage points a month. So I'm actually down overall, but that did enable me to add further to that position. I think it's still a touch undervalued. Same with Google, as a new holding less than 2 months ago, that's already moving up in that ranking. I think it's an excellent company. And if it continues to drop, I will continue to add more. I've got certain key strike points. So I'm going to add more, and you can see that in my Google stock review video found on the channel. Onto my dividend stocks, where I've got £8,500, of which 2,500 is in Unum Group's had an excellent month, 18 percentage points up just in a month, total return of 142%. Total return is the value of the holding, including exchange rate fluctuations and dividend received. With a big shout out there is Investec as well, nearing 300% return, which is absolutely fantastic. And there's actually only one stock here that's negative, and that's Citigroup by 3%. Everything else is not down, so it's a good portfolio for me, the dividend one. BT as well, bit of a recovery this month, up 13 points. Now, I do have a managed position in my portfolio where I have a couple of managed funds and mainly indexes, and that's a protection against my ignorance in case I do badly in the other holdings. And generally speaking, there's very little price volatility here. Worth noting there, Fundsmith Equity now up to £900, and I can see that becoming one of my largest holdings, if not the largest, in the long term in this part of my portfolio. I've got around about 10% of my portfolio is unclassified, so these are companies that if I was looking at them today, since I got this portfolio structure, I would not buy them. They don't quite fit any of those criteria. However, some of them I've already sold off. Some of them I'm going to sell in the future. But all of them I'm going to sell in the future. Not quite yet, because I think Alibaba, I'm convinced that it's a good company and I can and will make money on it in the long term. Only that. Same with Corsair as well, which is up 8 points in a month. S4 was level, which is down slightly now, but again, I think that's one of the better UK growth companies. Growth companies isn't what I'm looking to invest in going forward. I'm not so good at picking them, and I don't know them as well. I don't assess them as well. Those are the unclassifieds. Certainly Alibaba and Corsair, the two biggest ones by far, and I think I will make money on both of those companies. I just need to keep patient. Last but not least is the cyclical part of my portfolio, £2,000 or so. And the top two companies there of note are both coal miners, metallurgical coal in the main. Alpha Metallurgical Resources up 23 percentage points a month, so that's plus 340%. So I've sold off big chunks of that in the past to lock in quite a big profit on the cyclical, and it's getting close to selling that final tranche out. I think they're around about $170 per share in the market. If it hits that sort of 190 to 200 range, which certainly is possible, it's a PE2 and the market position for them, market price of coal is increasing, then I will sell around about that point. Everything in the cyclical part will be sold at some point because of the nature of how I want those to work in my portfolio. Thank you for watching this video. Do check out this link coming up. You don't want to miss it. It shows why I'm investing into Google, and potentially it could be an idea for your portfolio as well.